What do we got to lose?
We are recording.
Oh, we got to do a face though.
Yes,
We do a face.
So this bourbon one, by the way, is one bad one and one that we kind of highly rated, thought was actually pretty good, 1792. So we got a shot at having a good bourbon in this one, a good whiskey in this one. So
you're saying we should be pumped?
yes,
We should
because
be
these have been
ecstatic.
boring bourbon, boring whiskeys.
Boring bourbon.
Boring bourbon.
Boring
that sounds like
whiskeys.
that sounds like a good name.
Boring bourbon.
Boring bourbon. It's a good punk band.
Yeah.
No, it's a bad
Anyway.
punk band. So face.
Face.
So we'll do a
Face.
face.
Okay.
That was my pout to the people.
I was hoping. That's my
Understood.
praying that one of these is
Yeah.
good.
Oh, was it
Okay,
good? Good.
go for it.
All right. So, ready? Fadoom.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I'm one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm your third host, Warwick Price.
I'm the I'm the
We've had a couple.
I'm your
drinks.
sixth host.
There's
I'm
two of
black.
each of us.
I'm your ghost host.
We're the ghost with the most.
So we are doing
Bourbons.
Bourbon brackets.
Bourbon brackets. We're still in the semi-quarter, half finals.
We are
right?
in the quarterfinals.
Okay.
But we are
Well,
the.
we could just say we're down to the last.
No.
Is this Elite Eight or
No,
Elite?
well,
What are
elite.
we down to?
We're trying to get it down to the final four.
Right.
Yes, okay.
I think you're not allowed to say elite anymore. I think that's.
Yeah.
But
I'm not an elitist.
But we have hope that this could be a good pairing. Well,
hope so.
Well,
maybe
one
not
of
a good
them.
pairing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out because
We might at least enjoy one of
we've
them.
already been pointed out that we're full of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
And
so,
posh snobs.
Yeah.
And
The
we're not
blind
ashamed to
taste
say
test.
so. Today, it's 1792, very small batch, which I believe is a little pretentious. Goes up against
It's not the size though.
Goes up against Jim Beam Black Label,
As opposed to.
as opposed to the standard Jim Beam, which is a white label. Jim Beam standard is their low-end stuff. It didn't even make our 30 or less because that was too far down the list. We try to get ones close to 30 as possible. And Jim Beam doesn't have that except for Jim Beam Black Label, which is supposed to be a
Step up.
better version, a step up from their Jim Beam.
But it's still a $21 bourbon.
It's still.
Is it? Did you look
Yes.
at that?
Yeah, I believe
Okay,
it's-
so it is $21.
And 1792 is
Is
scratching the
$30.
surface
Yep.
of the $30.
Yep, that's at $29.99.
So,
So we got a $10 difference here, folks,
okay.
give or take. Okay.
So
Well,
you
let's
guys
see how
start.
it matches.
You guys start this time.
Yeah. We'll
okay.
let Warwick talk.
And
So we do a little.
Hold
sniff
on to your
test.
tag because mine are
let
falling
me
off.
talk then.
Oh, sorry.
We do a little sniff test first.
Are you two fighting?
Maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is it my fault that mommy and daddy are splitting up?
Yes, it is.
It's because we drink too much.
Yeah. So we like to do a little sniff test first.
Which one's mommy? Which one's daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
sorry,
the,
go ahead.
the one without the long hair.
Oh.
that would be daddy.
Damn. But mom has
Wow.
a beard then.
Love you
And-
too,
and
Warwick. Love you too.
Dad's clean shaven and mom has a beard? Okay.
I'm all about the hair.
I got you.
You're a good lady.
Anyway, so we like to do a smell test first. Often the smell test kind of allows us to
If
try
you
and
can smell them. Jesus. I don't smell
identify. Is it, yeah, you get some of that, and then we go in for a taste.
them. I got nothing on the smell side. That's
Nothing on the smell.
Okay. No, the smell was pretty uneventful on both of them. It wasn't really pungent or...
Jesus.
I'm going to
Right? I just did
Oh.
the exact same thing.
Wow.
I'm like sipping that one going, okay, next one's like, woo.
That's gonna wake you up.
Yeah. What
Oh,
the
that-
fuck?
Oh, man, I feel that in my chest.
Right?
So that was my left one for.
How can you say they don't smell? This one smells like paint thinners.
Well, it doesn't, they're not strong smells.
We have COVID.
I'm not saying they were all good smells. I'm just saying they weren't strong.
I don't want to try these.
Well, we'll let you be the icebreaker then. Not icebreaker. Tiebreaker. Fuck.
The ace breaker.
It should be the whiskey breaker.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what that means
So, number 2 for me was not as bad as number 1 on initial sip. But I am gonna try and do a little rinse just in case.
Yeah, you know what?
Fuck, I am still feeling that in my chest from the first one.
But going in the second one, it
Oh my
doesn't
God.
kill us. It doesn't hurt as much.
I thought I was actually going to throw up.
Wow.
Wow.
I
Not selling it.
That one has so much goddamn burn on it.
got them burn.
I think I need.
I don't know. I'm not even.
Is it burnier?
I need.
Oh,
it is
it is
It is
Bernier?
definitely Bernier than this one. I
Is it
think.
Weekend at Bernier's?
I think I need a backdraft intervention on this one.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
wow. Wow, well said.
That is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good reference there.
I do love Ron Howard. He's one of
Yeah,
my
no, I'm-
favorite
Okay,
directors.
let me
Okay.
try this again.
Yes. All right.
But I'm going to go with the one that kicked me in the face.
Okay.
I'll do the
First.
same thing.
You're going. Oh, so you started with the lighter one.
Right, because I was like,
Okay.
okay, and then I got kicked in the
Speaking
face.
of, I don't see a color difference.
I don't
really.
see
Oh my
one
God.
either. Not a distinctive one, anyway.
Okay.
Oh my God, that is not pleasant.
Yeah.
I do hope that we all we have the same one that we don't
I
is
think so.
pleasant.
I would be very disappointed, though, if 1792 was the one that made me disgusted like that. Because I remember in the last
God, it's time to
bracket
come back up.
when it beat, because really we voted for 1792. You had Old Forester.
Oh, that's right.
That is right.
You were the Old Forester guy.
But what I can't believe is that we chose Black Label over Four Roses.
Yes.
But it wasn't Four Roses small batch.
It was the
We got it,
standard.
we got it,
No,
yeah, we
it
got
was
to
the Four Roses
definitely put that out
standard.
there.
But let me tell you something. Four Roses standard is the best bourbon for the dollar, in my opinion, and yet Black Label beat it.
Blind test.
I didn't choose it. You two chose the Black Label, but you know what? It still won. I'm scared.
Okay.
If Jim Beam makes it to the Final Four, I'm gonna be a little upset.
Yeah. If we have Jim Beam,
And Jack. Jim
Jack
and
Daniels, and Crown Royal,
Holy shit.
like clearly we should just end this podcast right
Yeah,
now.
I think we're
Because
done.
clearly we don't know shit about
It's
anything.
just,
Because Dickel's out. Larceny is out.
Tickle.
Maker's Mark, the most popular bourbon in America,
Ah.
is out.
And you mean the most popular weeded bourbon, right?
Damn. Nice throwback on that one. If you don't know what he's talking about, go back and watch the episode.
Buffalo
with
Trace
John.
is out. Folks,
Okay.
we don't know what we're doing. Watch another
No,
podcast.
hey,
We don't know what we're doing.
we're trying this, and that's why we do the blind. Because honestly, that's a marketing thing, but that surprisingly plays such a role in this that if we didn't do it this
Totally.
way, I think we would totally just go, oh yeah, and move on. But
Yeah. I don't think I could even keep drinking.
yeah, I think I'm done with one.
Let's see.
The sad thing is I don't remember what made me not like 1792.
Well, I think
Last
it was probably again more that you liked Old Forester more.
I think
Correct.
you like the
Yeah, I
burn,
think they were
'cause
both. Yeah.
The Old Forester was a little bit stronger, I think.
I'm almost willing to go out on a limb and already pick mine.
Same here.
Yeah,
if
hang
we're-
on a second.
here.
If you're
I did
feeling
want
it.
to talk about the mash bill to see if we're
Sure.
talking similar profiles. Okay.
Let's do proofs.
We
and-
can't. Jim Beam, I got to specify Jim Beam Black Label here.
Jim Beam Black. Because once you go black,
Never go back.
Is
That's how it
extra
works.
aged. It's the same mash
that
bill, but it's
mean?
extra aged.
what is extra aged? Is that
Oh
like
my
some fancy way
God.
of saying it had like 3 extra months in the barrel?
Yeah.
What? Okay, they don't specify it, but it's at least 51% corn, but
Maize, you call it corn.
It's
Okay.
amazing.
So
and very small batches undisclosed. So, we're
are they
getting
both?
nowhere.
So they're
No,
what's the
nobody's
proof
saying.
sign?
86.
Yeah.
Jim Beam is 86.
86. And what
Yeah.
about 1790 Deuce?
1790 Deuce is
1792. The Columbus.
ba-ba-ba.
14.
Oh, it is a high rye,
Hi, Rye.
meaning
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I apologize. I do. I genuinely apologize.
No. We get canceled before we even get off the ground. Nice. He was talking to his friend Ryan. He has
Yes.
a friend Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. I'm trying to save you, man. Oh, dear God. Okay,
and
so it's a
just
high
like
rye.
that. Why are you so afraid?
Because I'm holding back. I'm holding back my laugh. Oh, God.
We are professional.
Yes.
What were you saying?
We'll edit
don't
that out.
remember.
We don't edit. No. So you were saying high rye.
1792 is a high rye, not meaning it's.
I apologize. I'm so sorry.
This is priceless. Oh, we're going to laugh half of this episode. Okay, anyway. So it's a rye. Oh, God.
Do you think do this on whiskey? On the,
I don't even know. Fuck it, we're just moving on.
Okay.
I can't find the proof on that one.
Okay.
It was a...
Go ahead and talk.
It was
I'll
a
try
lot.
and find it.
The level of rye was elevated more than normal whiskey, but not to the over 50%. It was still below, obviously, 50%. Because it's still over 51% corn, but it's undisclosed. So,
can you pick a winner? I refuse to drink this.
Yeah, I don't like one of them, and I do like the other one. I'm just scared to death that I'm going to end up picking Jim Beam. And it's the same thing with Jack Daniels. When we said, why are we so against Jack Daniels? And really, there's no other reason other than perception.
100%.
Right? Jack Daniels may be a very fine whiskey.
1795 foolproof, correct?
No, 1795, very small batch.
Okay.
And 1792, it's very small
95,
batch.
95, 92.
Yeah, 95, 92, it's all the same. And why did they do 1792? Remember?
Because that was
the year, was it,
um,
not Kentucky, one of the states.
Kentucky.
Was it Kentucky?
When
See?
Kentucky became a state.
There you go.
There you go.
And
I
that's
know-
where
I
they
know
make
mine.
it.
The more you know.
Dun, dun,
Star.
dun, dun.
I'm going to just come right out with it, man. I like this one. I hope it's 1792. But again, stigmas aside,
God, this is really hard
if
to
it's
find.
Jim Beam, it's Jim Beam. I have to accept it. I picked A.
Hey, okay. According to what I'm seeing, they're saying small batch is, that's the small batch, not the very small batch, is 93.
Oh.
93.7 proof.
So it's a little higher proof.
Yeah. Anyway.
And it is
So this-
very small batch that we have.
Yeah, I know.
But they're
Nothing's coming
probably-
up with that. So
They're probably similar.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I absolutely just do not like that one at all, which makes it even more surprising if we...
If it's 1792?
Right, because that is the one that we put through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm picking this one. And what did you pick?
A.
I picked A as well.
Oh,
right.
here's hoping.
All right, could we go with triple threat here? So I'm the same. I tried my left one.
Just doesn't
It
work as
hung a
well as
little
your
lower
right.
than the right one.
Do you lean on it to make it
Yeah.
fall asleep
Yes,
first so it
yes.
feels like somebody
You
else?
never know.
Okay.
You never know.
Okay. Just asking.
Yeah, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It did not sit well. I still feel it kind of in my chest. The right one was much smoother. It felt like I'm probably going to continue to drink this one.
Yeah.
I chose, drum roll,
Don't say B.
A.
Good. And
So
good
we
as
all
well.
three
Unanimous.
chose. Could we be on? Now, here's the
Swear
kicker.
to God, if it's honestly, I'll be very honest with you. When I put them under, I didn't put much thought into it, and therefore I don't remember which one's under which side.
Okay.
So I will be surprised by really. If it's Jim Beam, I'm just gonna have to swallow my fucking pride and say.
And your drink.
That, and my drink. I'll drink it. It's not
Okay.
bad.
No,
Okay.
I like it.
I'm almost done.
Yep.
But the
Okay.
other one I just can't take. Which, if it's 1792 that I can't take, I'll be very surprised because
Yeah,
I
same way.
liked it
Yeah.
So
in
did
the
I.
last
Yeah.
bracket.
I totally remember liking it.
I thought 17. I thought, hey, this is a good bourbon. I found a good bourbon under 30. I'm gonna.
Yep. All right, the big reveal.
A is the big winner.
A is the winner by unanimous decision.
Yep.
So, you ready?
Yep.
1,
2.
3.
Motherfucker.
Fuck me!
How is that possible?
We
I am-
all picked it.
Now,
Has it got bad in the last like?
No, I
3
don't
weeks?
understand this. Other than the fact that maybe maybe drinking the Coke fucked us up.
no,
maybe
it could be the
because of
proof,
the other
right? Because this
bourbon.
is 80, that's 93. Maybe that put it over the edge.
No, it had a flavor in it that I didn't like.
No, totally.
I am completely dumbfounded.
I mean, I didn't like the smell. It smelled like paint thinners.
Wow. So,
And I
well,
liked
take a
it
whiff.
in the
Take a
last
whiff and
batch.
see if that's the smell you were getting at.
Well, by me.
And just
Yeah,
just
see, I
so,
wasn't going
just
by
so
smell.
that people know, another twist off. Moving on. What the hell?
I don't smell it so much there, but often
I see that.
you don't quite get the same smell out of the bottle.
No, that's what I was getting on this one. Yeah.
Something's off tonight, man. Something's off.
I don't know.
Maybe we're all going down.
It's the
with
pizza.
something.
Maybe the pizza
Yeah.
tweaked us. Now,
Anything's possible, but Jesus Christ, man.
wow, I'm perturbed.
I'm vexed. I'm deeply vexed.
You know what? We're gonna be called out as the whiny baby Americans on this.
You know what? I don't care because this is hard. If somebody else can sit here and do this and pick them out, then either you've got a lot of time on your hands or you've drank way too much.
We drink way too much.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If we drink too much,
right,
and this is hard for us, so
I
I think
don't
Lon
know.
is so upset.
I don't know if I'm upset. I'm surprised.
There, we'll say that.
I'm
Surprised.
confused.
Right, just for the fact that it's like any of the bourbons that have made it through to this level, to this point,
Right.
Clearly, we liked it better than the other one.
Yes, but even that, I mean, we're talking about lesser of two evils, almost the entire brackets. Almost the entire brackets. Because I would have thought for sure Maker's Mark would have been in there. But it was against Beer Barrel Bourbon, which those are two that I really like.
Yeah.
Jefferson's and Larson. Well, all right, I never had Jefferson's regular.
Right.
But I thought Larson would have won. Jefferson had no magic compared to
moving
the
on up.
Ocean. Jefferson was, and it was still there. Okay, Crown versus Wild Turkey. Yeah, I get that.
That was a 50. That could have gone either way.
And I
like-
don't care about either of them, but okay, whatever. But and then the old Granddad against Conor McGregor's brand.
It was two things we
fine,
didn't really know, and
Fine, but Jack Daniels against Buffalo Trace, never would have guessed that.
no.
Dickel and Bullet, again, I've never had Dickel Gold. I've never had Gold Dickel, especially an 8-year Gold Dickel. I've never had an 8-year old
Hold on here.
And who knew that I wouldn't enjoy an 8-year-old Golden Dickel? So,
You're just trying to make me. My eyes are watering.
oh yeah, like that's worse than High Ride. Come on. All right, and then now we're at and Four Roses versus Jimmy Black. This beat Four Roses.
And now it beat 1792.
92.
Which, speaking of, we should probably show
Yeah.
the
All right.
graphic.
Okay.
All right.
Switching
All
over.
right. All right. You're gonna make me do this.
So
I
we
gotta
do
make it
have a Jim and Jack in the finals.
Fuck me.
I would not have thought that.
Wow.
I'm kind of baffled.
Wow.
But I mean,
Wow.
uh,
Well,
we
you know
should
what?
We should probably.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
If Jim or Jack win this bracket, so be it.
Yes.
Then they are the
one
better
of them
bourbon.
is going to win the bracket.
No.
No.
I'm
You
talking
mean the whole
thing.
Oh, you
thing.
mean the whole thing?
Yeah. Right against each other, and one of them's going to win. And back in high school, I was a Jack, didn't like Jim Beam. Now I consider myself not to like either of them, but
So now you're saying you're off the Jack?
And onto the Dickel.
clearly not on the Dickel because Dickel lost.
Yes.
All right.
Keep
All
the
right.
Dickel to yourself.
Oh my God!
I think we're
we
getting
have
giddy.
just-
Oh Christ. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. So let's say the winner, clear winner, apparently is Jim
Jim
Beam.
Beam
Black.
Black Label.
Unanimous
Yeah,
winner.
that is insane to me.
Black Label.
But it moves on. So speaking of moving on, we should probably
Yes.
Move on to the
moving
next
on.
episode.
move on to the next. So,
Wow.
thank you, folks. For those that would like to stick around.
Tell me what you thought about
Yeah.
this. Are we being wussy Americans by, and if you're American, you can say we're wussy American too, but are we being assholes or wussy because we are so against Jim Beam and Jack Daniels? Because they're still moving up. So clearly
I
we
got a
got to
feeling
learn some of
They're
it.
going to come back and say, "We were right. We told you." But,
Well, great. Let's
yeah.
hear that.
Yeah, come on.
Tell
me
us.
that.
Give us your comments.
But still, let us know what you think because
This is
obviously we're full of shit.
If you're interested in the movies as well, a couple of days we'll be releasing the movie episode, and those so that in our quarterfinal, the final quarterfinal, is the
Final quarterfinal.
Shinning
yeah.
Shinning versus
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, man. As
So-
much as you think, everybody thinks that The Shining is like the crowning moment, go back and watch Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one.
Yeah, not the
Yeah.
remake.
Not the
Well,
not,
that's why we say
not the
Nightmare on Elm
remake.
Street, not Nightmare on Elm Street 2. or
Right,
Nightmare
but
on
that's
Elm
just
Street
it.
3, Dream
Not the
Warriors.
sequels. Because the sequels, everybody knows the sequels because welcome to prime time, bitch. Watch the first one. It is nothing like the
No.
sequels, really.
No.
So.
Anyway, I always keep saying stick around. Don't necessarily stick around.
It's
Catch
gonna
us,
end.
catch us in a couple of days for the movie episode. And other than that, thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And continue.
Okay.
And
Don't
Okay.
touch the button.
welcome
No, I'm back here.
to
Well, we need to start
the
with
movie
with
review.
this
Oh,
You
guy.
can start it. You know,
No, I
I'll
don't
clap
know what
this
I'm
time. You
saying.
start. No.
I don't know how to do it.
You got to do it.
I'm scared.
Somebody else do it.
Okay, go
Maybe
ahead.
we'll get more views.
Go ahead. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of
Midnight movie.
Midnight
Distillery.
Movie Distillery. I'm one of your hosts, Lon Black.
And I'm another one of your hosts, Warwick Price.
And I'm just here for the booze. Logan
But we're
Lynch.
doing movies.
I know, but there's booze in front of us. Still.
Well,
Yeah,
all
you-
right, I
you
guess
get to
so,
drink
but
the
this is a
other glass.
movie.
See, I was here for the scares. It was BOOS. Booze.
Oh.
Or the booze, as in like
It
boo.
could have been boobs.
Yeah, well, we're all here for those.
Yes.
Let's face
Anyway, movies tonight.
Movies!
We're in our quarterfinal, final, our
Badoosh.
final quarterfinal.
Yep.
Sure.
What are the movies?
The Shining and A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
And
The
not
OG.
the
Yes.
OG.
on Elm Street.
So, what can be said?
So we've beaten these movies to death as far as reviewing each movie. But now we've got to compare them against each other. So let's try to pick up some points to compare between the two. They are completely,
Different movies.
well, don't say that because obviously they're different movies. But
But they're different styles of horror movies.
one is The Shining is a slow singe, not even a burn. It's a slow singe
Okay.
with psychological twists that just fuck you up. And the other one is an original idea on a psychotic killer coming back from the grave to kill in your dreams,
But couldn't
which
you
is a
say the same
phenomenal
thing?
concept.
You've got two psychotic people, right? You've got Jack Torrance, you got Freddy Krueger. He's a cougar.
He likes
Rawr,
cougars.
rawr. No, but so then you've got that. Now, both technically, you could say, are kind of in a dream state, right? In The Shining, Jack is kind of seeing people that aren't really there. What happens with the kids? They're seeing Freddy, but the parents aren't. So stuff's happening to them, right? So these are a lot.
And give me the Shining's example of that.
So he sees the bartender.
Okay.
That's not there. He's
Okay.
drinking beer, or I'm sorry, alcohol. I think it's actually Jack, isn't it? That he's drinking? Not
It's
Jim,
some
but-
whiskey.
That's
Yeah.
a really good question. That's good
So-
trivia right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, there we go.
If only we had someone.
If only
that
we
could-
only,
could-
yeah, if only we had
trivia.
somebody who could
God.
look that up. No, but okay, now that Lon's away. No, but if you think about it, yeah, these could be considered, because Jack Torrance is seeing things that his wife is not seeing, his kid is not seeing initially, and then they both start to kind of come in and see things like he's seeing them.
Jack Daniels.
It was Jack. Son
Jack
of a bitch.
Daniels.
There you go. But yeah,
See, that's why we picked Shining for this movie.
yeah.
But that's not Jack
I
Daniels.
know it's
I know.
Jim, but
Okay.
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 But yeah, I think that's what makes this kind of hard for me is, like you said, they're both very good stories on. I go by the similarities that there's psychosis in both of them. So
I don't think Freddy Krueger is a psychosis. I think it's a straightforward dream killer. I don't think that's a psychosis. I think it's a sort of a different take on, I don't want to say alternate reality, because that starts putting a little bit more foofy wording on it than I think it is. I think it's more simplistic than that. I think A Nightmare on Elm Street is a very straightforward concept, even though it's an interesting concept. It's very unique, but it's basically the old thing of if you die in your sleep, you die for real. Now put a killer in there. But
that's
he's
that's
a
causing
good.
the death.
Right.
Yeah.
That's coming into your dream
Right.
and causing it.
And The Shining is nothing like that. The Shining is one man's solo journey through psychotic breakdown. Because
But
he was like normal through the whole thing, and then you realize he was never normal through the whole thing.
yeah, but then why? How do you
I
explain
agree.
his wife seeing the ghosts, if you will, as well? Because she sees the bear and the other guy given.
So the
Yeah.
difference is if you have you read the books? Has anybody read the books?
Yes.
Okay, so in the books, it's a little different. The resort takes on a life of its own.
Sure.
The resort has got its own ghosts and things in it, right?
Yep.
So the difference with the movie is that they take it from Jack Torrance's, not his perspective, I guess, but his storyline, not the other ghosts that are in it, not the other storylines that are going on, right?
And that's why, to be honest, if you watch Doctor Sleep, it actually
Great movie, by
it
the way.
actually answers a lot of the questions
It does.
that come out of The Shining.
It does. It does. But the difference is, so the Dr. Sleep was also tailored a little bit to fit more of Stanley Kubrick's thing, Shining,
Yes.
because Kubrick changed it from the book
Right.
in such a way that that's what everybody knows is the Stanley Kubrick version and not necessarily the Stephen King version.
Yeah.
So Dr. Sleep,
Hence, King disowned the movie.
he did. He did, but at the same time,
For
when
the
he
longest
wrote,
time. He came back around.
because
I mean,
when he
came back around.
wrote Dr. Sleep, he wrote it to follow more of the Kubrick version ending.
But I feel like he wrote Doctor Sleep because the big thing Stephen King was upset about was he said that Jack Torrance, aka Jack Nicholson, his character from the beginning, you knew he was bad. Just based on the look, the feel of him. That's no
His sort of
fault of
standoffishness.
Kubrick or anything like that. But he wanted Jack to be a likable guy that does that dissension into psychosis or psychoticness, whatever, psychosis,
Psychotic breakdown.
and has that breakdown. But you see from the beginning he's suspect to you from the beginning. Whereas,
Agreed.
And that's where I think what he tried to do was, it ended with Torrance being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And what his whole purpose of Dr. Sleep was to try and get you to realize that he couldn't control that, like Jack couldn't control that, so now
Correct.
He's got to come back and in a better way, and I think that's why he wrote Dr. Sleep, was to bring him back as a better character.
And he because he had more control over the movie for Dr.
Yeah,
Sleep too.
yeah.
So that's why when he wrote Dr. Sleep, he was also trying to bring the Stanley Kubrick version back into his world of what Jack Torrance was actually all about, and what the Overlook was all about. Because the Overlook has its own personality.
Did you hear about the fire at the where they filmed?
Right.
There was it wasn't a huge fire, but there was a fire that happened recently. So.
In the boiler room?
No.
See, but that's a good point. So in the book, it was the boiler room that ended everything, and in the Stanley Kubrick version, it was in the maze.
Well, and I felt like in the book too, they made Jack's character a better person. and anytime
whiplash.
Warwick raises his hand to talk, I'm just going to keep talking.
Oh, I'm going to jump right the fuck in there. Here we go.
I need to go to the
All
bathroom.
right.
Nailed it.
So, okay,
Tagged him in.
let me just step in and say, so to me these are beyond any realm, like two completely different movies, just in terms of, so what The Shining does, The Shining is like, it's a big movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big movie.
It's a heavy movie. It's a deep movie.
And it's like beautifully shot, and like the storytelling is amazing. The acting is stunning. And when you guys said it at the beginning, it's like it is such a slow burn.
Singe, I believe, was
Yes, but it is one of these things where, on subsequent watching, you do realize that there are absolutely things that happen to Jack, or mannerisms that Jack shows, that really kind of like indicate how he's gonna become.
Sure.
I think that The Shining is a masterful movie. I think A Nightmare on Elm Street is a completely different
Animal.
It's
Different
a
animal
different
altogether.
animal altogether.
Yep.
Like
I agree.
it is.
I agree.
It is simplistic. It is you know, it's like I don't think the story is necessarily very, very good. However, you know, it is a classic of 80s horror, and part of what we're doing here is coming up with like the best horror movie of the 80s, and like I think that it has Nightmare on Elm Street has like everything that you would expect to see in a classic 80s horror movie.
And came up with a few, maybe not tropes, but at least iconic scenes.
Absolutely. That have been copied many, many times.
That have been copied many, many times. Sure. And created its own slasher subgenre.
I do feel, I agree with that, because there's no, has there been anything like The Shining since?
Well, we were talking about Nightmare on Elm Street.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
So there's been things that has taken a Nightmare on Elm Street and used that as a template for something else.
Sure.
It's The Shining, there's not much, if anything, like it.
You know why?
Right? Like that's been tried, other than Dr.
I've
Sleep.
got a theory on that. I got a theory on that because The Shining, many people didn't get. It was deep, and it was because it's a Kubrick movie. Every scene, everything that was in every scene meant something. It was there for a reason.
Sure.
Yep.
He was so meticulous that, and everybody's heard these stories. I think everybody's heard these stories about how Kubrick tormented Shelley Duvall
for
to
hundreds of
get
years.
her to bring out that performance because he needed it to be as very.
Sorry.
My air conditioner squirrel cage is a little squeaky. I got to fix that. You guys probably can't hear it.
Hopefully.
So it just makes him
You can.
look like
It's lawn farting.
He's acting to ghosts or something. But she made Shelley Duvall a nervous wreck.
Yeah. She has
All for the film.
struggled.
All for the good of film. And take that as you will, whether people think Kubrick's an asshole or Shelley Duvall was just a wuss or whatever. Doesn't matter what your view on that point is. The point is, the movie was made to a very meticulous specification.
Yes.
And also to answer your question, it's there's a reason why, you know, there's college courses on Kubrick movies.
Yeah.
It is like he has a style. He has like everyone talks about like, you know, there's several documentaries that are out there, but like, you know, he has. Before he goes into any movie, he has like pages and pages and pages and pages of backstories and like every single thing that you need to know. You know, to some of what Lon was alluding to before, it's everything has meaning. The color of things, you know, in every scene has meaning, and I just don't think there's many films that have come out, other than other Stanley Kubrick films, that have gone to that level of detail, and certainly not in the horror genre.
I agree to a point. I just feel that I think Kubrick is untouchable.
Well, because he's dead, so yeah.
Well, you could touch it.
You do touch it.
But I'm just saying, like
What's left of him,
his
anyway.
directing style, his style of writing, his style of doing anything with film is just. I think people are afraid to even try it. Because if you do, you're going to be labeled a Kubrick wannabe, or, you know, unless you nail it. But even if you do nail it, they're still going to go, it's like a Kubrick film, you know. And
You're always going to be compared to the people before you.
sure, but I do
That's
feel like,
normal.
though, that's what I think people are even afraid to attempt to make movies similar.
But my point is because people don't understand it. Not everybody gets the Kubrick movies.
Sure.
There are people who look at that and say, what are they doing with that?
Yeah.
But they don't realize there's a picture in the background that has the right person in the right scene, and you're like, it's a
Right.
foreshadowing of what's going. They don't get any of that kind of stuff.
But that's where,
which is
that I blame the person on that then, because I'm the
Well-
type of person where I go into a movie, I'm not sitting here picking out on first view. I go based on, I'm going to watch this film, see what I get of it, and then if I like certain parts of it, I'll go back, watch it again, and then maybe I'll pick up on other things. But I feel like if you're going into a film just to be entertained, yes, you're going to hate Stanley Kubrick's films, right? If you're going into a movie thinking, you know, then that's why you might like the 80s slasher films of, like, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street versus like Halloween or something of that nature. You might like that more because you're looking to be entertained, right? You're looking for simplistic, like you mentioned, versus, very, very non-simplistic, right? I mean,
Right.
It's the classic, Nightmare on Elm Street it's a popcorn movie. It is. You don't really have to think much about it. You don't need to be in one mood or another mood. You can go into a Nightmare on Elm Street and probably get the same feeling out of it in 20 different scenarios.
Sure.
And watching that movie. I think with Kubrick movies in general, primarily because often they're very long, it's
And sort of slow burns in that respect.
and it's slow burns because like he is, I say the king, but like he
Pun intended there.
not pun intended,
Stephen King.
but
Wow.
like but he is
Wow.
it's all about character.
Stephen King would kick you in the crotch right now.
Not right now, I can. It's all about character development, right?
Right.
He loves developing those characters and really not allowing you to kind of see the ultimate point of the movie until you know those characters like really, really well. And I think that's the slow burn of The Shining.
Agreed, because he wants you to really get into the characters.
Right.
And really feel what they're feeling. But the other thing is Kubrick puts things in his movie that he hopes to put on the subconscious level. So he'll put the things like the direction of the carpeting, where it was facing meant something.
Sure.
Right? Not everybody's going to pick up on that consciously, but it still works as an overall film piece because you're still subconsciously figuring everything's pointing down the hall to this thing. Well, that was on purpose. That wasn't by accident. You're not feeling that way, that everything's pushing you down this hallway, but if that carpet was going the other way, you wouldn't feel that.
Right.
So it's subconscious level on a lot of the different things that Kubrick does because not everybody's going to pick up on that.
Yep.
I watch Stanley Kubrick films all the time, and even I miss out on a whole bunch of things, and I see somebody saying, hey, did you notice that the picture in this was
Totally.
doing this? And you're like, no, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Because everything he does means something.
Yes.
So not everybody's going to get that. The majority of people are going to miss that.
Well, and to think if you saw that in the theaters, and because that would have been, what was that, like his fourth
80.
or fifth?
Oh,
movie?
what?
Kubrick's.
Oh, it's fifth movie. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Something like that. Probably fourth, maybe.
If that.
Fourth.
No.
No, because
he
Less
had,
than that even.
no, because he had the Duelists.
yeah, he had probably quite a few up
Let's-
before
let's-
that.
let's
But anyway,
look it
I mean, and that's where, like you guys were mentioning, A Nightmare on Elm Street is simplistic in nature, but I still think that there is those undertones, and there was enough undertones, and they're like, Craven had put in there a red and green sweater because he had read an article that said that, red and green, gives you that tense feeling.
Sure.
He
He's
had
a
his
good
own way of
director.
doing
He
it,
still
right?
knows
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
develop a scene.
So
Absolutely.
I like that portion of things, but I also don't want to get,
Oh,
that-
my God.
Technically, that was his. I don't know, like
sixth or
12th.
seventh,
Okay, yeah.
Because he did a
Well, big
Space Odyssey,
films,
Clockwork
yeah.
Orange, Full Metal Jacket,
Yeah.
all before
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Correct, but that's what I'm saying. Big
Spartacus.
films, right? Because some of the other
Yeah.
ones prior to that weren't as obviously as big blockbusters. But
Yeah.
but so I mean, you kind of by then already had an idea of what Kubrick films were going to be like. If you grew up watching. Now, if you were, probably 10 or 12 years old back then, and you went to go see The Shining, you probably were just like.
So do you want to know also? I think
I don't.
I would.
So anyway,
I have no desire to-
I would
So
imagine.
I just used the
I
same
would,
joke
I would
he
imagine
did.
another kind of major difference is so the point in the 80s that Nightmare on Elm Street came out was like the I say the hype, but like VHS movies, and so the idea that your movie had to be 90 minutes or less.
yeah.
Okay.
It was also like the time of the multiplexes,
Okay.
like first hitting. If you think movies prior to early 80s, the average length of a movie was like 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Even less than that, wasn't it?
No,
An
I
hour
think
and a half.
I think there were generally longer movies. Hence, because movies would have intermissions, in them.
Sure.
And so I think the other thing is it's Nightmare on Elm Street is just it's a quicker movie. It's just like they kind of get you very quickly to the point of what they're trying to do. It's
Could that be budget? You know, he's on a tight budget. He's
Oh,
got
I'm
a tight
sure.
timeline. Whereas Kubrick, they probably gave him carte blanche and said, "Hey, make this movie."
They
You
they
know.
did not give him carte blanche. In fact, that was one of the problems, is that because King kept fighting him on it, studios kept fighting him on it.
Okay.
Kubrick is known for fucking the system and doing what he wants to do, which
But see,
causes
now
problems
Craven
on
probably
almost all of them.
couldn't at that point, right? I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like Kubrick. It sounds bad, but I feel like he took advantage of the fact that I'm going to make this movie the way I want to. Whereas I bet you, if Wes Craven had his way, he probably would have had a lot of other things included in there. Maybe, you know, other.
Yeah,
'cause
maybe,
if you think
'cause
about
the
it,
studio
like,
fought him
some of
more.
the stuff he did, like
Yeah,
with
okay.
the body bag being dragged across by some imaginary force with
Right.
the blood and stuff like that.
Great
It's
scene.
little things
Great
like that. If
scene.
you really want to dig deep into it, you can see all of those little subtle things that you're like, oh man, that.
Good.
you know.
The whole
So-
when he's doing that, I just keep thinking the hand slapping,
Yeah.
the wet, bloody hand
Yep.
slapping
Yep.
on the tile.
And then and then her standing there with like all the stuff coming out of her guts and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was I think his attempt, and I felt like he probably wanted to do more of that, but it just budget wise probably and time.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
He was more of a newer director at the time, newer than Kubrick probably.
Yeah.
But
I think he did porn.
yeah, he
He
did.
directed porn.
that was way early on, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's got
All right.
some movies under his belt.
Well, he's got.
Anyway, okay, so
Okay.
We should probably pick.
we should
Yeah, we
probably
should-
pick
we should probably pick.
movies.
This was not easy, in case you couldn't
No,
tell. I
because-
don't think we have a clear winner. But
No.
And again, I think for me personally, because I do see these as totally two different types of movies.
Yeah.
Tootie?
They are, but that's what we're doing, man. That's what we do. We pit movies against each other that might not normally be pitted against each other. That's what brackets do to you.
Yes.
So we're in a bad position, but we got to pick something.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
do it.
Do it.
Let's hear it.
Wow, he really
I'm-
decided.
He's saying Nightmare on Elm Street? No.
Nightmare on Shining.
I still I have to go with The Shining,
Why?
just because I think overall it's a better movie. Oh my God, it's hard because it's like it depends. It's almost like we should have like more clearly defined what the definition of what the best horror movie of the 80s was.
But there is no way
You
to
can't.
define
That's
that.
a problem. You
But-
do that,
yeah,
and we're
you
going to
can't
have
define that.
brackets within brackets within brackets.
Because the problem is, it's like I could absolutely argue, and I think I said this a little bit ago. You know, I could absolutely argue that I think for a straight sit down,
Why's it got to be
hor-
straight?
Why's
horror
it gotta
movie,
be sit down?
or standing up, whatever.
Homophobe.
Fuck you both.
Standophobe?
I
Yeah.
think Nightmare on Elm Street is the more enjoyable movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Interesting.
I think The Shining is the better movie.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go
Alright.
The Shining.
Are you interested to go next? or-
No. You tie broke last time,
Okay.
so I'll
Break some ties this time.
unless
Ryan.
unless you go Shining, then I guess I don't have to break anything. But
So-
let's hear it.
So this is hard because yes, I do.
Giggity.
You've got both ends of the spectrum. I feel like you've got a lower budget film that is, you know,
Both ends. Sorry.
I don't even know what's going on over here. No, but you've got a very artistic movie versus a very simplistic, and you know,
Okay.
and both
Okay.
I enjoy both movies.
100%.
Both of all three of us, I think. can
Yeah,
say that.
and it's God, if I had to, because there's not much blood in Kubrick's, but when he
Other
uses
than
blood,
entire
hold on,
the
hold on.
hallway
most
of it.
amount of blood in any
Yes,
movie until that
but-
movie
hold
came
on.
out.
But I mean, it's not in the sense like what you see where there's
Right, I
slashing, and you know you do see the lovely axe to the chest, but
But that was the brunt of the blood. Was
Sure.
the elevator?
sure, yeah, and but I think
I get
that
it.
to me shows that the artistic talent that Stanley Kubrick had makes me lean towards that. In all honesty, though, if I'm in a pinch and I need to watch a movie, I will still put The Shining on. So I'm going to pick The Shining.
Shining wins. So it almost doesn't matter, my opinion.
All right,
It
so
does.
thank you for
I
coming.
still want to hear what you were going to
Yeah.
go with.
So, to me, when I was in college and Nightmare on Elm Street came out, I was all about Freddy Krueger. I was, in film school, so I was even making my own masks to look like Freddy Krueger. I was all about
You
it.
have one on now, right?
I
Still wears it to this day.
all about him. When the sequels came out, I was kind of into him because it was like, you know, he became the sassy murderer, and it was very fun and very entertaining. But after a while, they became cliches. And then I thought, you know, honestly, even after now I'm in my late 30s,
Something like that.
and
1930s.
Early 1900s.
And when I think about a movie to watch, I'll put on a Friday the 13th or a Halloween and rewatch them over and over. And when it comes, and you're looking at the Nightmare on Elm Streets, I'm like, I won't put it on. But then because we're doing brackets and we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one again, I really regained appreciation for that movie. That movie was way better than any of the sequels. Freddy Krueger was a different kind of killer altogether.
Yep.
He was literally scary. Not because he was like an evil monster that can come out of the TV and prime time, but because he was psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
He was twisted. He was demented, cut off his own fingers to scare you kind of shit.
And he had no boundaries either because
He had
he's in a dream
because he
world.
was a dream world. It was surprisingly great. However, The Shining is the way movies should be made. It's down to the T of accuracy for what he wanted to do to scare you the right way. And for those people looking and go, oh, it was too slow, it was too direct. Man, that was part of the scare.
Absolutely.
He was building it up, and he was timing out his. There's no jump scares in The Shining. Not even the axe. I wouldn't consider that a jump scare when he came out on the side, because honestly, I saw it kind of coming. He was going to get killed.
Yeah.
When he came out, the axe was. But the masterful descent into madness was what made The Shining outstanding. I'm going with The Shining.
Good.
Ta-da.
So
So
that's our
we
unit.
all-
I didn't think
that's
we'd get
double,
unanimous.
That's a double unanimous. We had
I-
all three picked Jim Beam, and now we all three picked The
Oh,
One
I
was a
didn't
good
think-
decision.
Shining. I was going to say.
I honestly thought we were going to have to fight over The Shining one. I thought that was going to be more of a
It was-
fight. I didn't
it was
know
still
which one I
tough.
was going to pick until we started
Yeah,
talking it through,
it
to
was
be
still
honest with
tough.
you.
And as I said, in a different bracket, Nightmare on Elm Street absolutely could have won.
Yep. I
Shall
think
we
we should
move it?
show our fun graphic. Dun, dun, dun.
Fun guy.
Speaking of The Shining, have you guys watched
The Shining.
Room 237?
Oh, the documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
It's
insane.
awesome.
That is insane.
I have not.
What?
Oh, really?
Oh
Yeah,
my
no,
God.
It's
don't
on-
spoil it for me.
it's on-
No,
I
you gotta
know,
watch
but
it.
I mean, I just
there's
haven't watched
no
it.
way to spoil that because just watch it.
Okay.
But because that was what I watched to see the fact that, he colors rooms based on whether or not, good things are going to happen in this room
Correct.
versus bad things are going to happen in this
Correct.
room.
But think what Fulci did. Fulci did the same sort of thing
Right.
with colors and lighting, more so than painted rooms, but same sort of concept.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And
So-
music are the same thing.
Wow.
You can tell
That's
them.
true.
You can. With The Shining, it's like the music changed, based on who the characters were that were on scene and like what their state. Like you hear the music.
You can go back to us.
Sorry.
We're talking.
The build up of music as Jack Torrance is getting more and more crazed.
Right.
It's more frenetic. It's quicker
Correct.
and
Correct. It makes your heart pound a little
Right.
bit faster.
Yeah.
Just because you know you're getting to something. And let's not. We're giving all the credit to Kubrick, but let's not forget the performance of Jack Nicholson,
100%.
who made that role what it is,
Yep.
because of the psychotic, unstable. You're like, wait, is he happy or is he mad at me?
Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
Or both.
And maybe this is. I'll hold this for the.
Oh, we should finish the bottle. You're right. You're right. So that's it. So we've got The Shining moves on and comes against The Thing.
Oh God. That's gonna be
God,
tough.
this is getting so difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's gonna be a tough
All right.
matchup.
I'm looking forward to it because I love the debates on that. But
Yes.
unless we all agree like we kind of did on The Shining, there was not much of a debate there. But All good
So
points.
for those who are watching videos, the FTB version, Finishing the Bottle, will drop tomorrow. We will.
You said the FTB, the
Yes.
finishing the bottle version of FTB?
No, sorry, version. Sorry, FTP.
FTB.
Oh my God. FTB, Finishing the Bottle episode.
You'll get it one of these
Will
days.
drop tomorrow.
Got it.
There it is.
Okay.
Um,
Which would be Saturday.
Saturday.
Amen, sister.
Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
All right.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
See ya. Okay, it's now the next episode.
I don't need
Wow,
to
that
clap.
was
I don't
quick.
need to clap.
Okay, we can clap.
No, because we got the
We
clap
don't
on
need to,
the
'cause
end
we
of
don't-
everything.
Yeah, we don't need
We
to
do the clap when we.
because these aren't. This isn't a separate
Right.
thing.
Yeah, we're just
Right.
continuing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Although I
so-
did clap on the last one, I think. I clapped.
I think I clapped because then I
Clap.
clapped
Yeah,
for you.
no,
to
the
start.
beginning, but at the
beginning.
end of it, I clapped.
Yeah.
We will have to clap.
We love the clap. Okay.
What was I saying?
Finishing
Should
the bottle.
say,
So
welcome to finishing the bottle.
the
finishing the
rooms,
bottle.
and you in the episode or in the show, room 237, you said that they were showing you how Kubrick did even the room color to elicit a mood.
Well, it was
Even the painted
Yes.
room color.
so
Does that
the
help you
premise
figure out where you were
behind
going?
Room 237 is
Okay.
these
Okay.
are theories people have about that Kubrick.
So it's
but
not
that-
documentary; it's theories people
No,
have.
no, it's
It's a
documentary. It's
documentary.
the,
Oh.
you gotta. I don't even know how
I'm a
long
little
it is.
disappointed with
It's-
other
it's
It's like
people's
2.5,
theories.
3
yeah.
hours. It's long, but
Okay.
before you know it, you're just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's insane. Like there was points where I'm like, I'm actually starting to believe some of this stuff. But
Well, right.
you got. I would highly recommend it just because if you've seen The Shining and you even just think you know enough about it, it puts you right back in your place.
Wow.
And he's right. I mean, in other words, it's in the same way as I said that there are college courses on Stanley Kubrick.
Yes.
You know, there's absolutely in those college classes probably 3 sessions that are solely talking about The Shining and all of the and some of it is typical, very kind of professor. Oh well, yes. If you look at the color of the cereal packet on the side, it's on the left-hand side over here, but the right-hand side over here. So some of it comes from those kind of theories.
Right.
But part of what Room 237 does is it kind of like proves out a lot of these theories of things, and some of them are like they got access to some of these notepads that Kubrick had,
Really?
where you actually see some of these things were planned, and there were certain things that were planned, but the scene that was really supposed to kind of show that thing never made it into the movie.
So, and the thing is, so what I do know about Kubrick is that even during the day of shooting, he would delay shooting because he didn't think the room was set up correctly. So a lot of his stuff may have been planned, but there was a lot that went into that wasn't planned until he was right there in front of it and seeing how it laid out.
Right.
And wait a minute, that shouldn't be there. Take it out or whatever. So I can see why that would be. We didn't. By the way, when I was in film class, we never had a Stanley Kubrick class. We had a class that talked about Kubrick along with other directors, but we did have a class. What do you think? What do you think? One of the movies would
Citizen
have been
Kane.
to study.
Citizen Kane.
Well, of course we had Citizen Kane. Everybody fucking studies
Which
Citizen
I'm sorry,
Kane.
I'm not a huge fan of Citizen.
Oh,
It's
I-
okay.
it's
Yeah.
brilliant, but
it's a good movie, but it's not.
brilliant.
I don't know if it should.
I
be.
But
don't know
for
that
different reasons
It's
than
the
you think.
I don't know why it would be the #1 movie on the AFI list. It's just
Yeah.
it's
Still, we should say that. Like I could see it being a timepiece, like for that era, following it. But yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
let's just say we studied one horror movie.
A's. Oh, sorry.
There was one. There was one horror movie that we studied. There was a whole class just on this horror movie.
The Omen.
It was. You're getting close. It was The Exorcist.
I
Okay.
was gonna say that was gonna be my next guess.
But we didn't. But Stanley Kubrick didn't have his own class, but he was in the directors, and we didn't talk about The Shining so much. But when we did talk about him, we went through all the different things that he went through, and this is, mind you, a couple years ago. So there's more that's out there now about Kubrick
Sure.
than what I
Sure. Yep.
learned.
But I think the other thing that was interesting when you were talking about what he did to Shelley Duvall to like get the thing out of him, out of her rather. It's the other thing again, not vaguely saying this is correct, but that was typical of a lot of directors. Not
Sure.
Not being mean to Shelley Duvall.
No. But trying to get more out of their actor.
Right.
But Kubrick took it to an extreme level. He locked her in her trailer for a while. He tormented her and told her things she couldn't do, and would berate her on set in front of people to get her upset.
So
that's an extreme. That's
but
an
here's the
extreme
thing.
that other directors haven't
The
done.
way
I
I
agree.
interpreted him doing that, because from what I had heard, Jack Nicholson was fun to work with on the sets, during a lot of his filmings.
Because he was always joking around with
Yeah.
guys. And
So I feel like
He's a man's man.
he was
I remember what I
not.
was gonna say now.
He was not being the abusive husband that Kubrick wanted. So I feel like Kubrick took that on and was doing that to Shelley, because now look, she played those parts, and it just. She was scared. She was upset. She was, and she wasn't getting that from Jack. And maybe he was like, "I know she's got it in her. I know, and I'm just gonna." He took that role of, "I'm gonna be the asshole, like good cop, bad cop," right? You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what he did. Not sticking up for him in any way, shape, or form, because I know you want to get the shot but there's a point where you break people, and I think he pushed her a little too far.
I think the point is, it's like there. And obviously, I'm saying this as someone who's never directed a movie in my entire life.
I think we all can claim that.
But I think there comes a point where you just have to realize this isn't the right actress for this role.
But that's not the conclusion. That's not true. She was not the wrong actress for the role. She was right. She just wasn't reaching the potential. Because look at it now. Mm-hmm. If you look back at it, can you see anybody else doing that role besides Shelley Duvall? Because she's creepy to look at.
Oh, fuck
She's creepy when she gets hysterical.
Yeah.
She's scary when she gets hysterical. She was the right person for the role. She just wasn't reaching that potential.
And that is actually a very, very, very good point. In other words, it is that thing where today, in the environment that we live in today, they would say, no, let's get rid of the actress and get someone else that can play the role the way we want them to play the role.
Correct, because they don't want the negative publicity over the whole thing.
Right.
Public opinion to turn against them.
And, there is definitely an argument to argue which is correct. It's like, does Shelley Duvall look back? Like, in other words, I've seen interviews. I can tell you.
I was going to say, right? We know exactly what Shelley Duvall thinks of this.
Interviews with her afterwards, who said it's like it was a torturous, 3 or 4 weeks on set, but she can look back 20 years later, 30 years later, and look at those scenes.
She's cashing them royalty checks.
And see that, it's like he got something out of her that she probably wouldn't have got out of her at this.
Correct. She still
wouldn't
claims
have
a
done
lot of
herself.
She still claims a lot of PTSD over the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But, and honestly, if you ask Kubrick about it, back then, people weren't as sensitive as they are now about that.
Care. It's like,
right. So it's only now that people think that that's so extreme. And personally, whether you think Stanley Kubrick's an asshole for what he did to Shelley Duvall or not, that's sort of beyond the point I'm trying to make, is that it worked. He did get a response out of her. He did talk to her afterwards and explain what he was trying to do. He, it's not like he came out and said, yeah, I'm going to torment you and then walk away thinking that I hate you for the rest of your life. Yeah. He did come back and explain what he was trying to do and make her feel better about it as she moved on. But
there's still
other directors are doing this.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
other directors are pushing their
One of the other
actors.
classic ones is Poltergeist, right? In other words, it's like they didn't tell. What's the
I
name?
know.
About the skulls and
The mom, that the skeletons were real.
in the swimming pool.
Yep.
Yep. It's and because they wanted the real reaction that she gave.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's and look at Alien. Look at Alien with the chestburster scene.
Oh,
Like,
right. They didn't tell him.
They didn't tell him that was going to happen. So that was a genuine reaction.
Right. They just said
that you see on screen.
Right. They knew what was kind of going to happen, but to be ready for the scene, they did not expect that.
Just so my brain doesn't forget it again. I remember the thing that I was going to say. The thing that I always find amazing about Jack Nicholson in The Shining is, to me, he is the perfect husband to Shelley Duvall, because I think from the very beginning, like, he is creepy as fuck.
Yep.
It's like I don't see him as like the happy family man, like from the very beginning. I mean,
He always seems like he has an ulterior motive.
he does.
Yeah.
Like he
Totally
just seems
does.
so fucking creepy.
Totally does. And then when they say something like, "Oh yeah, I hurt my son by jerking him up and pulled his arm out of the socket once," you're like,
That's all it takes.
okay,
Right.
all right, we're right. Whatever our assumptions are verified now.
Sure.
He does have a dark side to him.
But like even at the very beginning of the film, where he's having the interview with the manager
Right.
of the thing, and he's just like kind of like
Yeah.
laid back in the chair and just like
Yeah.
all like super casual and
Says all the right things. Well, I'm your man.
but just
that sounds wonderful to me.
to me that
Little
just
peace
is
and quiet
fucking
is all
Right.
creepy.
Yeah.
So I get it. So I don't quite get the thought that he was playing. Kubrick was playing it as like he was the family man, and they were building up on it. Unless at
No, I don't think they were.
Unless at the end of the day, it's like really that was him kind of showing you that he was psychotic from the very beginning of the movie.
But that's just it. You want to it's believable that he was psychotic through the whole movie when they reveal it, because of that uneasy feeling that you had of him early on in the film.
Sure.
But you don't realize that you had this uncomfortable feeling about him until at the end you're like, oh, I knew it. I knew he was crazy.
Right, and also, unlike a classic trope in horror movies and certainly thrillers in general, is the misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, everything is pointing that you think that this is the person who's the killer.
Right.
And then, in the last third of the movie, all of a sudden you realize that, no, this is the killer over here.
Right.
Like,
And they're all along.
Kubrick, with Jack Torrance, it's, as you said, it's like you have that creepy feeling that there's something wrong with him from day one.
But you can't quite put your finger
Right.
on it.
But it keeps building,
Yeah.
but it still doesn't seem to be quite serious enough to be really concerned about
Sure,
it
sure.
until all of a sudden it is.
See, I took it as...
Sorry.
But that's masterful movie
scene,
making.
The scene when Shelley Duvall comes to the typewriter
Yeah.
and sees,
And sees what he was
work and no
writing.
play.
Typing.
all work and no play,
Right.
and realizing that that's literally just pages and pages and pages of shit. It's like, that to me is like one of the best scenes in the movie. Just 'cause
Agreed.
it's like, that is, from that
That's
point...
the scene that lets you know you were right
Right.
about feeling he was creepy.
Right, from that point forward, it's Jack psychotic.
Correct.
See, I took Jack as he's trying to repair himself.
Okay.
And that's why I took it as he was bad, he's trying to fix things, but then he gets right back into it, into his bad area. So I did get that creepy feeling, but I thought, no, give him a chance.
Well-
It's kind of that whole, it sounds bad, but abused lover, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, he will get better. He's going to change. And that's kind of how I took it. Oh, he was bad. He did it once. He realized he fucked up. Now he's trying to fix it. That's why he's taking this time off. And then, he's going to write a book. And
Until
change.
you find out that he's been the caretaker the whole time.
Yeah. And then he splits people's heads open and
Correct.
kills people.
Because that's just it. That's the whole twist. You saw it coming.
Spoilers.
Sort of thing. Yeah. You kind of saw it coming at the end. But because, Grady even tells him in the bathroom, says, well, you're the caretaker.
Right.
You've always been the
yeah.
caretaker. That's one of those mind fucks, because you're like,
Wait, what?
what? Huh? But anyway, it was just masterfully done. Not to give any shade to Nightmare on Elm Street, because it was just a phenomenal
We had
movie.
to pick
but,
something, so.
but
Yes.
but let's face it, The Shining.
Yeah, it was again. As I said before, I think it is one of these things where, if we had clearly defined what our definition of that best 80s movie was, you know,
That could take.
I think you could argue the American. Oh my God.
Or The Shining.
Or The Shining.
Yeah,
Oh,
one of those two.
sorry, A Nightmare
That's
on Elm
last
Street.
week's bracket.
Yeah, A Nightmare on Elm Street is a better classic 80s movie.
Yeah.
I would
But
say better 80s classic slasher.
yes,
Agreed.
yes,
Totally,
yes,
because
yes.
it's a slasher genre, and
Right.
if we're going to separate them, genre is a good way to go.
Right. But, you know, again, just as I said in my explanation of picking The Shining is just a masterful movie.
Right. Okay.
All right, folks. We appreciate you coming along for the ride.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
So what
Next
are we doing
episode,
next
we're
episode?
we're into the finals.
Semi-finals.
Semifinals.
We're into the semifinals.
It really isn't that hard.
We're gonna pick.
That's why it's
we're-
called semi.
We're currently done with the final four. So the final four movies are
Hang on, let me switch
Yeah,
over.
we'll switch over.
Aliens, Reanimator, The Thing, and The Shining.
So I won't say anything. That's why that is a tough
Cookie.
pairing.
It's very tough. It's very tough. I think whatever makes it into the final two, I don't know how we're going to decide.
I truly think for the actual final, we literally need to set a timer, and just say it's like
That's not a bad idea.
like
'cause
we
could-
literally have like 15 minutes.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Because otherwise we'd hem and haw over the whole thing for hours.
15 minutes, and at the end of 15 minutes. So 15 minutes for
I like
us
it.
to
Let's do it.
talk about it.
Yeah.
And at the end of 15 minutes, we have to come up with a decision.
Done. We'll bring my phone out of one of our phones and we'll
Yep.
time it and everything. I love it.
'Cause
Because otherwise we
we'll-
will.
we'll talk forever.
Because when you're pushed into pressure, you'll come
Yep.
up with an answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, folks.
Check out the next brackets. We're getting down to it. It's getting hot and heavy
Yes.
now. So watch and comment.
Comment.
All
Tell
that
us
shit.
what we're doing
Yeah.
wrong.
Thanks
Or
for coming,
right.
everyone.
All right. Awesome.
See you later.